Gorilla Comm going 10.8. What's up, guys? So from the first video of this series, we've seen the progression of an initial attack. That's what the fire people in here in California call this scenario when they first encountered a wildland fire. They called it an initial attack. Very militaristic of a term. So sometimes in that situation, if there's like erratic winds or the weather is not cooperating or the fire gets into some terrains that is really steep, heavily vegetated, I mean the conditions have to be right for the fire just to take off, where the fire will outpace the local resources in the area. So the incident gets bumped up the notch and they call it an extended attack. So when the situation gets out of hand, they call up an incident command management team. And there's quite a few of them out there. There's national type 1 teams, type 2 and type 3 teams, and there are various levels of severity. So once the incident command team takes over, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be a bigger organization with a lot more resources to handle this particular fire. The fire, let's say, is in this middle part right here. These are the boundaries. The repeater that they were using before, still there, but it's turned back to the local agency. So they're not using this no more. What they did bring was a portable repeater set up strategically on the mountain to cover this area here. The repeater that's on this mountain usually is hardwired, is in a permanent installation, and it's kicking out a lot more watts, typically 100 watts. That includes fire, EMS, and even the hams. The hams, they got just as much power as the big boys do. That's just the way it is. That's the reality of things. So this could be a major site, but it's been turned back into the local jurisdiction. So now the portable repeaters, by its nature, since it's portable, they don't have a lot of transmit power. Typically, at least for the fire portable repeaters, they're kicking out something like 5 watts. Going out the antenna, maybe 7 watts effective radiation. That's what the field here will feel, is 7 watts worth of power. There's not much power at all, really. So typically you would need more portable repeaters and linked together to cover a wider area. So this is where we come in and sort of plan this out between the comm unit leader and the operations section. They get together, find out what the circumstances is, and predict what's going to happen in the future, and that's how these locations are determined. And of course, the terrain is king. That determines everything, really. The goal is this area here, and from this goal, we look at the terrain and see what position that the portable repeaters will be deployed at. So in this case, since the ICP, the Incident Command Post, is way out this way, the actual fire is over here, we're going to place the repeater on this mountain over here, symbolized by this spent shell casing here. To increase a little bit more range and to think of contingency, if we have a second portable repeater, we'll put that somewhere else and have it linked together. So in this time around, we place it up on this mountain over here. So you see the radiation pattern of that particular repeater on this mountain here. And this mountain here, since the terrain is a lot better, they're both the same power, but like I said, the terrain dictates the radiation power of this whole incident here. This is a more advantageous site, just hypothetically for this example. So it covers this whole area here. So these two are linked together. So if somebody talks on this command repeater, it's going to link over to this repeater and repeat out in this area here. So this could cover this back country here, and of course this one will cover this whole area here. And you can see this being a bigger incident now. You have more divisions, more task groups, or platoons, if you will, if you want to militarize this particular setup here. Now you have Division H, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, and Echo down here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divisions out here, or task groups, to take care of this particular incident now. And they're enclosed in this area there to fight the fire and suffocate it, if you will. And like I said, each one of these bubbles is the range of an HT, 5 miles on VHF in this wooded area, high foliage terrain. And each one of these divisions now have their own TAC channel now. So you still have the same sort of structure. You have the command channel for overall command and control of this incident. And then you have your TAC channels, simplex, radio to radio, for your individual assignment here on this division here. So you won't get no overstepping onto the command channel. They could talk among themselves as far as what to do, the instructions and all that. In this group here, using the TAC channel, and if they need help or resources or whatever, they could get on the command channel to notify the incident command post, where the incident commander, I'm sorry, that's what it's called, the IC, gets his updates and disseminate his instructions and stuff like that. And as you can see here, the bubble by themselves, this division Kilo, is out of radio range of Division Juliet and Division Hotel. So if they want to talk to the division supervisor from here to here, they will have to get on the command channel, and the command channel would relay it to this whole area here, including this backcountry here as well. Now you see these two groups here. I'm going to repeat myself. They're sort of overlapping. This HT here, handy-talkie, your walkie-talkie, could talk to this group here, walkie-talkie. They're within range of each other. So this is how I am sort of representing that particular function when I overlap the circles a little bit. They could have communications with themselves. So here you got like 3 engines here and so forth. So that right there in a nutshell is incident command communications. This could apply, and it does apply, to law enforcement, because law enforcement will have their own portable repeater, sometimes even deployed in the same location here, along with the fire one, to do their particular operations. And they would have a division. In that case, their division would be a task group, whether it be evacuations, traffic control, crowd control, you name it. The medical, usually the medical is looped in with the fire. And here's the comm plan to reflect this expanded attack. Let's change things up a little bit. Let's change the scenario. This is not a wildland fire situation or scenario anymore. This is the start of shit hit the fan. What's going to happen? I cannot predict what is going to happen, but I got a pretty good idea on what's going to happen to the comm system if it progressed deeper and deeper into a quagmire and things just gets to decay slowly. And I take my cue from Hurricane Katrina and that debacle, and the 9/11 attacks and what happened to the comm system there when the main tower fell over. So in this case, this is going to be a prolonged sort of incident. I mean, lawlessness is just going rampant. The radios with the antennas on is a mountain with a repeater on there. So let's say this is a police repeater on top of a mountain to take care of this particular city here. You have a riot going on in the city here, plus looting and all sorts of stuff. Then general lawlessness on this end over here, along with, you know, medical emergencies, fires, just things are just breaking down slowly but surely. This here, this little circle here is the radiation pattern, and we'll call this a solar powered ham radio. You got the people running this ham club or whatever, or just for shits and giggles, a prepper group. This is their home base, and this is their bug out location. So within this repeater there, they have range to go back and forth. Here's 5 miles of range, but it's within the bubble here of the repeater, so it could negotiate this ridge here and have contact with their home base over here. And this is pretty much the rally point of all their members of their prepper group, if you will. They have a scanner, and they're listening to all this nonsense here, and they're getting a clue that things are not going to go so well. Let's go somewhere safe where, you know, their particular bug out plan. This is another city here, and they're having the same sort of problems. We'll call this fire and police on this particular mountain, and this is the range of that repeater for their little town, and they have trouble in this area here. Name the trouble. Same with this small town over here. They have a repeater on top of a building hooked up to shore power. Since it's just a small town, they don't really need too much power to go past beyond the town limits. Same with the city here. So you'll see the indication of the radiation power in this particular jurisdiction there. And this is a major city, which have the highest point and more power in their transmitter to cover more real estate in their major city. And that's not too far from reality right there. So this is powered by commercial power and a generator, propane generator. From what I've seen and from what I've maintained, that is pretty much the standard. Same with this. But in this case, it's not powered by a generator, it's powered by an uninterrupted power supply. So that's how this little town is running their repeater, and as a backup. So here we have the same thing, a little hill in this little city here. Commercial power with a propane generator backup. And our ham repeater here is powered by a battery bank and solar panels. So there's the scenario. And this is going to be the sequence of events that I think will happen when society collapses, slowly taking over. Rigor mortis is setting into this present day society here in any town, Earth, right in front of you here. So like I said, the food trucks have stopped rolling. There's mass mayhem, hyperinflation, you name it. Crime and vandalism in general is just running rampant everywhere. Sort of like the Watts riots, Rodney King riots, Katrina, and other sort of calamities that happen here in the United States. And I am taking my cue from history and from the technology that's keeping this network together with the first responders. And bear in mind, the series that I'm producing here is effective scanning. Hopefully by this time you will have your scanners tuned into all these frequencies here, including the TAC channels, your FRSs, the little bubble pack radios, the GMRS radios, mirrors, even marine band. I would program marine band into the scanner and CB to get the big picture of what's going on. So here's your prepper group here, and they have a scanner, and they're listening into all this nonsense here. They have, let's say, a 40-foot tower with a disc cone antenna on top, and they're listening to all this here. By this time, maybe they have more than one scanner so they can have more than one team member scan a particular section of this nonsense here. They have a clear shot to listen in on this mountaintop, so they know what's going on in this city here, and they hear all this nonsense going on. They're in a clear shot of this city here, and they hear everything that's going on this in this town. They have a ridge blocking here, so they cannot hear this little town and what they're going through here. Within their little community here, they're listening in to the FRS channels and CB channels, and they're listening in to everything that's going on here, along with the ham channel up here. More than likely, this is a prominent hilltop here, and the ham channel will activate the hammers will activate their CERT teams, their RACES, and other ham affiliated disaster relief organization, and they would use this as their particular command channel. So they have quite a bit of stuff to listen to get the big picture of everything. Okay, time continues, and the situation is just getting worse and worse by the minute. Exponentially, this thing is just dissolving into the Stone Ages. The power people, utilities, they've stopped working because they're going home to take care of their families. Fire, police, and EMS are overrun, and they see the writing on the wall, and they begin to abandon their post. So just like in Katrina, all these units here, law enforcement units in this area here, they begin to abandon their post. So they go silent. These guys are out. Dispatch is still going there. They're in their fortified dispatch center taking care of business and collecting data and giving instructions. So your scanner over here can still listen to whatever intelligence that's going on. Here in downtown whatever city, these guys abandoned their post. They're gone. Dispatch by now probably got a clue there's nobody out there to talk to. They're going home or bugging out. The equipment is still working. This small city here, same thing. Situations got out of hand. Their first responders start to abandon their post. With the little town here, sometimes the little small communities, they have a better response, less problem childs in their communities sometimes. So we'll keep these guys still working. The survivalist group over here, their action is still in play. So they're rallying over at their main rally point over here where they have their equipment and stuff, and they're slowly but surely making their way over to their bug out retreat over here within whatever wilderness or whatever. Or it could be another city for all I know, a prison like in that TV show. Their solar repeater there is still going strong. So they still got connectivity with everybody in this particular area here. Powers goes out, the generators kick in. This guy's on propane, this guy's on propane, and this guy's on UPS, uninterrupted power supply. They don't really have a long time to be on there, usually maybe 1 or 2 days tops on a UPS system. So their tower goes down, no repeater. So all they have to go with here is just maybe car-to-car communications or HT-to-HT communications, but they cannot go from one town to the other to talk to a unit across town there. So at this time to go home and take care of your families. No commo there, goes silent. The smaller city, they don't have a big budget. They only have a 500-gallon propane tank. That goes out within 3 or 4 weeks. After that, the batteries take over. That's an extra 16 hours. When that time expires, that repeater goes dead. No comms for no first responders in this area here. This goes silent. The major city has more of resources. They got 1,000-gallon propane tank running the generators. Their units might be gone, but the repeater is still active or still working. But after a while, that goes silent. No commo in this area. So, and you're listening to all this back at your rally, prepper rallying point or individual family, and I'll use my family as an example. We have a scanner, and we're listening to all this because I'm in a pretty prominent sort of place to listen to these repeaters here. When I hear those services go dead, and I transmit to one of these, or try to transmit to one of these repeaters here, and I don't get a kickback, I know that site is dead in the water. This guy here is still working off of solar, so they're still in play. They got comms over in this area here. They're going to go back and retreat over into their locations here, and possibly not venture out until things settle down, whether it be the predictive massive die-off or whatever. This, I think, is going to be the progression of things to happen from a commo communications standpoint. You got your scanner and you're listening to all this activity there. There's going to be a hell of a lot of activity on the scanner. Everybody's talking, everybody's screaming, you know, things are just going hectic, and then slowly but surely things are going to go quiet. And all that's going to be left maybe is possibly your FRS or GMRS radios in this area here. Possibly. I'm not sure. I mean, I can't predict the future. Or you're going to hear a lot of ham channels come in to give their status report, asking to see who's out there, what's going on, asking for info. Because usually the hammers, their systems, whether with being their home or on a hilltop or something like that, are a bit more robust than the other sites there, the commercial sites running the first responder system. And hammers, they don't really go off duty. They're preppers by nature in a way, even though they don't like to think so. Some of them at least. Their system is a bit more robust and more battle proven to handle this particular situation here. Again, history tells us that with Katrina and the hurricane disasters down in the Florida area and so forth. So that's the scenario of shit hit the fan, WRL, as it's happening. The next video is going to be using the scanner as a tactical sort of device to let you know what's going on, how to predict the range of people, and I'll cover that when I produce that video. Alright guys, Gorilla Comm going 10-10.